Hey everyone, this is John from Models by John Michael. If y'all could go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel, that would be great. Promise you it doesn't cost you a dime. The other thing you can do is follow me on Facebook and Instagram and check out some of the stuff I got posted there. So in this video, I want to talk about masking techniques, especially when it comes to paint. If you've been building models for any amount of time, you'll know that the paint job that you put on the model will either make or break the way that the model looks. And one thing to really keep in mind with masking is the application of your masking, so like your tape, really makes all the difference. And if you do it poorly, you're going to have a poor paint job. Or if you don't do it at all, you're going to have a substandard paint job. So it's really all in the preparation. And it really starts with the type of material you're using, namely the tape. So, and here's the thing, do not be afraid to invest in tape. Because if you buy a substandard type of tape, it could damage your paint job. Some tapes will actually take up more material than you want. The other thing is it may not seal down properly along the edges, so then you could get this bleeding, especially along seams or panel lines or something like that on your model. So my favorite tape, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is Tamiya. Now this comes, I have this in the little fancy dispenser. You don't have to have the dispenser. Matter of fact, it just comes without the dispenser. So it comes in a nice little package here. I'll show you real quick. So it just comes like this. It'll say what size it is, like 6mm, just the roll itself. And one of these rolls of these tape, I mean, they last you forever. This little 6mm, because I have the 6mm. What's this? 18mm. So this is the big wide stuff, and then I have like the intermediate, which is like the 10mm for the Tamiya tape. And they do make another size. I think that's larger than the 18. I'm not sure. And then Tamiya also has this. It has tape and then film attached to it, like a clear film for masking larger areas. I haven't used that stuff. I don't know if some of you guys have, but it does look useful. So that's something to keep in mind. Go to your local hobby store, check them out. If you don't have a local hobby store, look online. Sprue Brothers, and there's some other places that I can't really think of right off the top of my head that also have really great masking products. Another type of masking that a lot of people use is painter's tape, so like the blue tape or frog tape, which is usually green. All that stuff works really well too. I don't have any of the blue tape here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's the 3M or the duct tape brand or frog tape brand type masking tape that you can use on your models. That stuff usually works fairly well too, and I use that to mask off larger areas, because this tape is quite expensive for how much you get. Now, granted, it does last a long time, but I usually use this along the edge, and then I'll use the blue masking tape to kind of fill in any gaps that are left. So it's kind of, because the masking tape is wider, or you use this stuff to help to make sure your edges stay well defined. Another tool that you have that is available is this stuff. It's just like a silicone type tape. It's kind of stretchy. It will go around curves. So this stuff works really well as too. This is also Tamiya brand. The edging tape, or I don't know exactly what the name of this stuff is, but very, very useful in certain applications. Another thing that I use a lot is this stuff here, the Blu Tack. There's this brand, there's Gorilla. There's a couple different brands out there. I have found that this one, and then I don't remember what the other brand is called, are both extremely useful. I don't really like the Gorilla brand because it doesn't seem as, I guess, sticky or it doesn't get as malleable as this stuff does. So this is really good for doing if you have like an extreme curve that maybe this stuff won't get. This stuff's really good for that. And I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about here. So like this curve right here, you can't really get that with this tape because it doesn't bend that way, right? So if you want that nice, almost 45-degree angle, okay, this stuff is really good for that. And it really does help with getting those weird type of little angles. Or sometimes, you have like a little panel line that you want kind of defined because you have paint going up against it. I actually did this on the FW190 because the underside of the nose has that yellow color, yellow paint color, and there are some panel lines they had like these little curves and stuff in there, and I just use this stuff to mask it off. Another useful masking technique, believe it or not, paper towels. You can wet them and then stick them into different crevices. So like, if you have a wheel well or you have a cockpit or something like that, it's useful for helping to mask that stuff off as well. Another masking method actually is your, what do they call it? Your masking liquid. So I don't have any here. I had a bottle of it and either it went bad or it leaked or something. I don't remember exactly what happened to it, but I ended up having to either toss it or I just can't find it. But that stuff is useful as well. So the masking liquid, I think Vallejo makes it, if I remember correctly. So yeah, different applications, and I'm sure there are some other masking methods that I'm not really aware of or I just don't use, but there are different ways out there to do it. So have fun with it, explore it. If you have a piece of plastic laying around, maybe part of a sprue or maybe part of a model you didn't use, or maybe something that's a shelf queen that you don't really care to build, but you want to experiment on with paint or masking, do that. But, or, if you're the next model you're building and you want to work on your masking technique, pick up some of the Tamiya tape. You'll find it's a game changer. Or pick up some of this stuff, or try the wet paper towel method. You'll find that they're all very useful in their own ways, and it'll help help you take your model to the next level. So anyway, guys, it's really all I have for this video. So you guys take care. Happy modeling.